Why are you? Okay, there we go.
Hi there, everybody. It's Neil Kilbey and
Peter Schmitz.
Right. And today we're continuing with Claude Hopkins, Scientific Advertising. Today we're on chapter, I forgot, I think it's 17. Yeah. And he refers to individuality. And his first comment on this is, a person who desires to make an impression must stand out in some way. Being eccentric, being abnormal is not a distinction to covet, but doing admirable things in a different way gives one a great advantage. Okay, so I was talking with Peter about this a few minutes ago, and the first thing he says, add what? Could you translate, please, Peter, for the Americans there?
I'm not sure what you're referring to with that comment.
Admirable. Okay, so let's continue. All right, and so how do you sort of ensure that you're seen?
Well, I'll give you an example. Okay, so I'm an author. I wrote a book, and I'm not trying to promote my book, but when I introduce myself to a business, I'm in a consulting situation, I will make reference to that, and I will use this book as a marketing tool, and it separates me from other business consultants only because I'm an author, and people, for whatever reason, tend to hold an author in a different regard, a little higher regard than others, because most people, the statistic is 80% of the people want to write a book, but very few people actually do.
Right.
And so they give you extra credit for being an author. Right. And I'm always surprised at the reaction I get, but I'm here to tell you, and if you've written a book, then you know what I'm talking about. People look at whether the book is good or bad is not the issue. The fact is that it's a published book. That's one way to separate and become an individual. We were talking a minute ago, Neil, that I'm a triathlete, and all that does not make me a better business consultant. It just makes me different. I mean,
more memorable. So
yeah, people will remember me as the guy, especially because I'm disabled, that I do triathlons. And if they learn, that's what my book is largely about, but it makes me memorable. It doesn't make me individual.
Yeah, and one of the things that Claude Hopkins goes into in quite in depth in this is that if people, it's a well-known fact that most people won't do business with you on the first time that they see you. They normally need 8 or 9 touches, whatever they are, for them to be connecting with you and remembering you. So that means that each of those experiences must link in their mind. So we can't do one photo like this and then a totally different one, et cetera, et cetera. It's got to be relatively consistent so that we then stick in people's minds. So let's get back to his first line there, okay? And we can give a quick example of whether we think this is appropriate or not. And it's not that it is or isn't, okay? But a person who desires to make an impression must stand out in some way. Yeah. Being eccentric, being abnormal is not a distinction to covet. Now, I would argue the ones that we're going to show here now is it doesn't make the person stand out in their field how I would want to be known. This person is a German LinkedIn consultant, and this is not the weirdest outfit that she gets on.
Oh, okay. You see, she does other outfits.
Yeah. She does other outfits.
Oh, okay. So that's her thing, so to speak. She's trying to.
Yeah, and you were saying it may work with other women.
It might work in her niche, and she may be targeting creative women, right? And so she wants to appear to be very creative, and I would argue she is creative in that picture, etc. It's just not. It's not something I would respond to.
No, absolutely.
She looks kind of silly to me, but
yes. But as you point out, there's not everybody is in the sensible, dull, boring businesses.
Are you trying to say something about me?
No. Well, yes.
Okay.
So, but that was just an example. I mean, yeah. I along with Peter, I would say that doesn't make us stand out in an admirable way. But it does make us stand out. So what we're trying to say with hopefully a little bit of examples there, Peter's self-promotion and the other lady's idea of what makes her stand out do make you stand out, but do they make you stand out in a way that enhances what you do for your business? That's the simple question that needs to be answered.
That's exactly the key, is that you stand out in your profession.
Yeah, and you look good and right for that profession.
Right.
Well, that's Friday night. I don't know how we've made it for another week, Peter.
I'm not going to answer that.
Are we going to thank everybody for their time over this week?
Yes, we are. Thank you for attending. And by all means, if you have any questions, reach out to us.
And we will speak to you all next week.